Hey guys, this is a video, my third video talking about the lossless scaling. Again, I will say I'm not sponsored. I'm just giving my opinion and the different games I've used to increase or double my FPS, my stable FPS in an existing game. So this is the little app. So I'm going to click launch. I showed you guys how to use it. It's very affordable. It only costs $7 in Steam, and you can get this up and running, and then you can pick Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, Apex, whatever game you want to play. It can be a Epic Games or a Steam game or any game on your PC, and you'll be able to make use of the frame generation technology LSFG. And I've showed you guys how to do that, but I just got finished going through a recording of the finals. So I got a comment. Let me see, where's the comment? I got a comment here on the channel saying if I could do this on the finals. It's somewhere around here. There we go. So shout out to Tip Kit Gamer. Could you try on the finals? So this is what I did. So I'm going to show you guys the recording. Let me go ahead and jump into the recording. Here it is. Alright, so I'm going to try to mute this because we don't want to hear my... Anyway, so if you look at the video here, I'm showing you that in order for this to get to work, you need to determine what is your stable FPS in the game. In this case, I am on a Ryzen 5 2600X, a bit old CPU, but still you can use it for gaming with a Intel Arc 380 GPU. So it's the entry level, essentially the entry level graphics card, and I've capped the game. So if you look at the beginning of the video, let me go back over here. At the beginning of the video, I show you guys my settings. For this lossless to work, you need to make sure it is a windowed full screen or borderless full screen. It has to be windowed, in other words. All low settings. So let me jump back to the video here. So yeah, in a minute I'm going to activate. I think it may be activated here already, but you can see I capped the frames. My stable, I play this game a bit. I know that on this particular setup I'm able to get constant, easily 60 frames per second. So here I'm about to show you, if I recall the recording. There you go. So this is the FPS draw. This is the equivalent of what MSI Afterburner or the Riva Turner statistics server tells about FPS. So the FPS here is 75, and I'll tell you why in a moment. This monitor I'm working with is a monitor that fortunately or unfortunately only can give me a max refresh rate of 75 Hertz. So going back, if you look at the other videos I've made about the lossless scaling, depending on, you see here I'm actually showing you the app here. This is how, you know, right now I unscale it. I can go back to scaling it. I'm going to show you guys. Here is locked at 60 frames per second. In the settings of the game, I locked it at 60 frames per second. And again, I'm showing you here that, you know, I took off the lossless scaling. So here we have a true 60 frames per second. That is what the GPU is rendering with this game, because I set it that way. Okay, what the lossless scaling does, it generates additional frames so that you can go beyond what you cap the game at. So since I am on a 75 Hertz monitor, that's the max that is going to show. But if you look at my other videos where I did Call of Duty, where I did Fortnite, if I had a better monitor for this setup right here that I'm showing you, my 60 frames per second would jump up to 120 frames per second. So 120 frames per second is very nice, considering this low-end hardware. And there again, I'm showing you the proof that I'm getting the 75. Again, I haven't fully understood why MSI Afterburner is not picking up the extra generated frames that the lossless scaling app is giving us. But maybe in the future the app will somehow make itself known to MSI or other FPS counters to say, hey, this is the FPS that I'm actually generating in this bordered or this windowed screen on your computer. So I will say, you know, this is a good alternative, like for a low-end computer. And this is a low, pretty much like a low-end computer, this one that I'm playing off the finals. But hypothetically, if I had a monitor that had 120 frames per second or 120 refresh rate, I would essentially be able to use this lossless scaling app, and I'll be able to get 120 frames per second from my capped 60 frames per second. So it would make the game look smoother a little bit, but a little bit better, right? Instead of the 60 frames per second, doubling that essentially. I will say it's kind of hard to see. Nice, I got a kill. I will say that I think we get this guy. I will say that there is a little bit of tearing or ghosting. Now, if that's not a problem for you, then this lossless scaling app, which only costs $7, I highly recommend, because I noticed the input delay is not really noticeable. I'm able to play this competitive, fast-paced games. You can see that I'm doing more or less okay. I'm not lagging or anything like that, but there, I just wanted to show you guys a proof. Again, shout out to the person in the comments that requested this, but this lossless scaling app essentially works in any game, pretty much any game, any PC game essentially. And I'm showing you again the proof that it's doing the frame generation rendering there, and I'm pretty happy with this app. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'm just thinking of ways that people that have a low-end computer, how they can double their FPS in any game, with some minor sacrifices, like $7 you got to pay for the app, and maybe if you're accepting of the little ghosting. There's some ghosting that happens when you move the camera fast. Not necessarily you'll see it here. Again, I'm using my smartphone to record this. I think my smartphone is actually capped at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. And again, you're not appreciating what I saw with my own eyes, the 75 refresh rate on my monitor. So again, this is the lossless scaling, and I just providing you guys some evidence that it works in the finals. Again, this is more geared towards any type of computer, particularly low-end computers that are struggling with the FPS on different games. And again, I'm showing you the evidence there that have the scaling frame generation turned on. And I just want to highlight to you, again, I need to further understand the technology why as to MSI Afterburner is just showing me. Again, MSI Afterburner is only concerned of what the actual GPU, the graphics card, is rendering or giving out to this game, which is, say, the GPU saying, graphics card, look, this is I want you to be capped at 60 frames per second. Here you go. And then what this app does, it sits on top of your full screen borderless window here that we've set the game settings on the finals, and it says, all right, I'm going to use this window and I'm going to further generate some additional frames. And normally I would double it from 60 to 120, but since this monitor is a 75 hertz monitor, as you can see, that's with the maximum FPS that I'm able to get this. But if I were to hook up another monitor, like a monitor that's 240 hertz, then the number that you'll see there in the upper left corner of the screen will not be 75. It will be 120, because it will be double. It will be double the cap. The capped FPS, which is 60. So there it dipped a little bit, because this game is pretty demanding. And that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to show you. That's the video recording there. And let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'll provide the link to this app if you're interested, and it works on the finals. And but yeah, really excited about the potential of this. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. If this was useful, helpful, check out the other two videos where I talked about the lossless scaling, if I missed anything. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for your attention, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, and have a good one, and God bless, and goodbye. Happy gaming, and let's try to get the highest FPS we can get with the lowest end hardware as possible, and saving our money to be able to fight these big tyrants of the giant corporations, Nvidia in particular. Not that I'm hating on them, but these GPUs are overpriced, and like with a $7 app, I can take my constant frame per second and double that with it, with some minor sacrifices as a little bit of tearing, a little bit of ghosting, and $7 out of your pocket that this app costs. All right, guys, that's enough of my marketing. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'm just trying to find solutions. I'm really intrigued by this lossless scaling app, and I hope you found some usefulness of it. I'll see you guys on the next video, and goodbye.